The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Thank you, Mr. Rector, for being with us and taking our questions. Today's interview is more about how Tbilisi State University has positioned itself in this devastating war that we see. That's Russia's war in Ukraine, and what is the university doing in order to support Ukrainians, students, professors who might seek shelter in Tbilisi?
First of all, I would like to mention that Tbilisi State University started with expressing a position toward the clearly unbelievable war that Russia started in Ukraine right away, immediately after 24th. Our position is crystal clear that we condemn, of course, Russia's aggression in Ukraine, and we're doing I believe that we're doing everything that we can in order to support our peers in Ukraine, including students, and we're receiving Ukrainian students. We already have 6 Ukrainian students at Tbilisi State University. They're fully funded, and they're provided with places in our dormitory. Of course, there are tuition waivers, we're having scholarships, etc. Also, we're working with professors, and we're negotiating now with a number of professors from different universities of Ukraine, from Karazin, from Kharkiv, from Kiev Mohyla, Taras Shevchenko, Lviv National University, Mykolaiv, and others. And we're ready to provide teaching positions and research positions for scholars at risk. Not only that, but we also set up a special task force in order to have a consultancy, psychological support, and support in human rights, and it's very important also because we're dealing with a massive amount of IDPs throughout Europe, and it's more than 4 million now, I believe, and that's unbelievable. And what is important to have a guidance and to have a counseling, proper one, and we have specialists, and it's important for us because we experienced all of this. And Georgia saw a war, ethnic conflict, everything, and till now 20% of our territory is occupied by Russia. So we know what we are talking about, we know what our trauma, what is experience that our professionals gained during those uneasy days and years for Georgia, and fully supporting Ukrainians' strive to freedom, to independence, and we hope that this war will be ended soon, and peace will be restored in Europe. What else? We're part of Europe, we're Europeans, and therefore we have to stand our ground, and we're very firm in our decision to support our Ukrainian friends.
And this unity in being on the right side, on the white side of this conflict is also among professors, among students. What I can feel from the university as being part of this university, and we saw a very nice video of our capella singing the national anthem of Ukraine, which was very popular. So thank you for that position. And one more thing I would like to focus is that it was right out of the pandemic, and we still do not know whether this pandemic has ended, whether it's going to take a turn, right? So what kind of uncertainty is before the university and before you personally as running a very large university?
Indeed, there was a clearly a huge problem for us, for every university on the globe, I believe. And what's happening with us is we're a big public university, 25,000 big public university compared to sizes of Georgia. It's 25,000 students, or mid-sized university in our terminology. And what was important here that we had to move our courses immediately in online regime, and it was extremely difficult. We had 3,500 courses to be translated to something very different, right? So we did all of it. We did podcasts, we did videos, we used Moodle, we used Teams, we used Zoom, all of it, Skype even, and sometimes Facebook groups. But we tried all possibilities in order to move this machinery immediately to online regime, and we did it in 2 weeks. So I believe it was a great achievement, and I'm very thankful to our professors and students for patience and to hard work. And secondly, what's worth mentioning, that we also learn a lot from pandemic, and we're talking constantly with our partners in different countries in different formats, in format of European University Association, be it in other formats, Academia Europaea and others. Whatever we're discussing all the time, we're probably having the same opinion that a lot of good things came with pandemic as well.
So there are some kinds of tendencies that you believe that will stay even after the pandemic goes and we get more peaceful times.
Look, open education resources. We started in Cape Town a couple of decades ago talking about open education resources, but now we have it all in MIT opened up their resources, and other universities joined to this idea of open education resources. This is one stream. Another was open university concept, open science concept. It's all coming and intensified during the pandemic, and digital education, distance learning, and elements of distance learning that we're having. The future of quality assurance mechanisms in Europe, it looks like that we'll move to micro-credentials. And I believe that we already have quite a number of already experienced parts of it, and we can use it in the future. Secondly, what is happening, thirdly, what is happening, that what we learned also, that we can work as a teams. And also, when we was producing podcasts or our lectures, etc., it's a capital, clearly. And also, we were working on another dimension, which is digitalizing of our library. We have a huge library consisting of 8 million volumes in our collection, 22 million patents from 60 different countries in our collection. It's one of the biggest library collections worldwide in this respect. And what we're doing now, we're digitalizing our collections in order to create an open library, but open not only for students of Tbilisi State University, but public at large. And that's exactly what we're doing, our third mission of university.
Do you see these events unfolding in front of us as the motivation for the universities to gain even bigger role in daily lives, in daily politics, more involvement of the university in shaping some kind of like reforms, so to say, more say of the university in what will be tomorrow?
Sure, because it's one of the main functions of universities, not only research, not only education, but also so-called third mission, service to community. And here universities should play a more vocal role in society and be a place where you can generate a positive societal changes. And that's exactly what universities are doing, I believe, in one way or another. But we have to be more vocal, and I agree with you 100%, and we have to deliver very strong messages to communities that it should be, universities have a different role, but they should be more proactive, especially nowadays. We are discussing this pattern with our partners, with our colleagues from different European universities. In 2 weeks' time, we'll have a wonderful meeting, I believe, with very interesting agenda, where we'll probably agree that universities should play a very certain role in societal development, and especially it was echoed by Commission, by the way, by European Commission, and in the last communication, very interesting one on research and innovation, which was issued in last year, 21. It was in May. Very clear messages were written about the role of universities, about the future of research and innovation sphere in Europe, and also about the cooperation between the different players on the stage. It was 1 year ago, but we wrote a very interesting word there: reciprocal approach. Reciprocal means that you shouldn't have a openness. Does not mean that somebody should use you in a way, and connections should be reciprocal. They should be, equal. And yeah, and partnership should be developed with equal partners. If we're talking about, say, I don't know, face recognition system or AI, you shouldn't work with North Korea on that, knowing the results, probably, right? And that's exactly what we're thinking behind this reciprocity, which is fixed now as a term. And it was very difficult, by the way, to put it on paper. I was among those who was on behalf of AUA drafting some ideas around this approach. And we had a very hard debate inside the group, strategic group. But finally, we all agreed that yes, we have to say something clearly and loudly, that the world is different and there is a competition in the world. Mm-hmm. And Europe should play, and also what is important is communication, that now we know what our priority number one for European Union, and that's the public health. And what's priority number two, what's priority number three. And we have to unite our ideas and our strength in order to be competitive with China, with others who are really, really big players on the world scene.
Yes, we just heard from the EC, by the way, that they will be working on moving the whole chip industry, semiconductor industry into Europe, and that's also part of the diversification and competition.
Yes, I mentioned priority number one is public health. The second one was digitalization. And that's digital economy in work. That's exactly the place where Europe should play a special role because of competitiveness and all of it. So I do agree. We have to be very careful and very choosy in choosing our partners. And that's something very new, because sometimes you are considering that when we're having an open university approach, open science approach, then reciprocity doesn't really come to the picture. But no, it's a reality that we're facing. And it was done a year ago before the events in Ukraine and the war of Russia in Ukraine.
And my last question, and that's the direction that the Tbilisi State University is working really hard, and that's the connections with the industry, with business community, to kind of like solve those problems that we are hearing on the labor market. What are some news there, and that will be
well, we have this and that, but in STEM direction we're very active, and we already have 4 programs of Tbilisi State University. First time in bigger region we received EBIT accreditations, the American Board of Engineering and Technology, for our programs. They are accredited already. We have the process of accreditation of our 2 programs in chemistry and biochemistry done by American Chemical Society. More than that, we're having a representation of American Chemical Society and student chapter of American Chemical Society at our university. Thus, Georgia became 24th country worldwide and second country, I believe, in Europe that is hosting this wonderful organization. We are hosting Academia Europaea regional hub at our university as well, which means that we are connected with a huge network of European intellectuals and professors. More than 4,800 members of Academia Europaea, 80 Nobel Prize winners are members of Academy of Europe. And also recently we opened a representation of European Public Law Organization, EPLO, and we're hosting EPLO in cooperation with Ministries of Justice and Education and Science, and that's something that we're looking at internationalizing our efforts. We have all in all 24 English language programs at our university, more than 400 English language courses at our university offered to our exchange students. And as we speak, despite the fact that we're online still, we're hosting 71 students from European Union.
That's very nice. All we need now is that Ukraine wins and there is peace in the world, as I understand. And hard work, of course.
Peace will prevail, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.